My name is Johanna. I'm the founder of a brand called Kclab. I am passionate about marketing and bringing visibility into this world, and most of all to Black, mixed, and POC people. Stop comparing yourself. To me, it's a very important one because we're back to authority here. You and only you know what you want to achieve, you know what you want to be known for, and you know how you want to build the thing based on your background, based on your experience. So you can't compare your journey, or you can't compare like your whatever it is, like number of followers, engagement rate, and all of that to someone else. I believe to me the goal is really to find your people, as you said before, like showing up so the people who looks like you and the people who are enthusiastic about the way you do things finds you, and they're going to be your most loyal customer in the end as well. So it's all a win-win, I guess.
Johanna is a creative entrepreneur, brand strategist, and the founder of Kclab, whose work fits at the intersection of visibility, strategy, and cultural fluency. She spent over a decade working in brand strategy and marketing across Europe, partnering with major brands. But along the way, she noticed something critical. Black, mixed, and POC founders had vision. They had talent. They had ideas worth scaling. What they didn't have was infrastructure that actually understood them. So instead of waiting for the industry to catch up, Johanna built what didn't exist. Not content, not noise, but systems, rooted in cultural authenticity, strategy, positioning, and lived experience. In this conversation, Johanna shares how reclaiming authorship over your expertise is an act of leadership. We talk about why visibility without positioning is just distraction, why most mainstream creative advice quietly assumes access and privilege, and also why identity isn't something to downplay in order to succeed. It's a competitive advantage.
Being from a scientific background, I had to find my own creativity. So it wasn't like natural to me to be a creative as I am today. I was very rational, very scientific, but I always had this dream of making things simple for people, whether it was in science, but now I'm doing it in marketing. And because marketing could be a little bit complicated for people, we've got all these terms, all those promotion and all that things. So yeah, basically, all my life has been changing paths, changing ways, changing countries so I can keep building that creativity and bringing my voice to people. So it really empowered me and get my voice more bold. So yeah.
So how long have you been doing that? It's been quite a while. I think you said about 10 years you've been doing all this branding and marketing.
Yeah, I've been doing that for 10 years. So I started my journey as a trainee, specialized into communication, internal communication, um, moving along to then working in digital and project management and becoming a brand manager for a brand that was doing thousands of turnover. And I was thinking, okay, now I've got all that knowledge. Why staying in your comfort zone? Why? No, I mean, I'm laughing about it, but really my goal was, okay, I know all of this now. I should do it for people who look like me or were not represented in that area, who may want to start a business, but they are not feeling seen. So I thought, okay, this is what I should do, bring all that knowledge into visibility so other people can be visible and make the world a nice and lovely place to be.
At what point did you decide to position yourself as the authority instead of waiting to be recognized?
Well, it happened. You were talking about messy journey, all right? It happened at like different time in my life. So from science to marketing was already a first step to that because I was having a biology degree and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be a lab rat. No offense to people who are doing that. We need you, but that's not my personality. So, and it wasn't at a day where having two hats was actually a thing. People were supposed to stay in a box. So you start a study, you start a background, you should like hand it. So I was like, no, I'm going to do something different. So that was the first one. The second one was when I've decided to move to the UK for the first time. So I was like settled in my job, in my career, in my personal life. And I was like, well, I need to expand my mind and expand the way I see the world, the way I see things. So I had the chance to be expatriated in the UK with the company I was working with for 2 years. So this is where I also, yeah, got into taking the opportunity of speaking for myself and speaking for what I actually want. And the latest was last March when I decided to build that company. So I was like, okay, well, I know there's a whole path. It's about a crossroads sometimes. So there's like you can choose to have that path that is already designed for you, or take the leap of faith. Because you believe in it, take a chance, and you'll see what happens. Here I am.
Yeah, definitely. And there's times when you have to like take that leap of faith, as you said, because you probably could see that certain things weren't happening in the industries that you were in, and you thought, okay, you can't continue this way. You need to
Exactly.
make your own pathway. What did you have to maybe unlearn about shrinking yourself in those industries?
Well, I think because there was not much representation. So I was born in the 90s, all right? And growing up in that period of time, there was not, as we can see now, as many Black entrepreneurs, as many women entrepreneurs that look like me. So um, basically, just being an entrepreneur was already kind of like earning what I was told since I was a young age. That was about, well, the, I mean, in my family, that was a classic one. Like, you should be a lawyer, you should be a doctor, you know, okay, you've got it. So already not doing that. Last year saying, yeah, I'm gonna drop everything I had, all that stability to take a chance was already like something that I had to unlearn from the, how to say that, from the pattern that was going through generation and generation in my family and in my surrounding and in the area where I was living, because it was an area where how to say that, where people are used to settle and be like happy with their career and where they are at. And I was trying for myself to outgrow that, if that makes sense.
Sounds like there was something deep inside of you that made you, go another way. You mentioned, I think you said you mentioned a social media coach instead of being recognized as a brand strategist. Why do you think culturally diverse expertise often gets sidelined or flattened or dismissed, do you think?
Um, Talking only about social media marketing and I mean branding as well in general, I think, um, let's put it this way. I think we are often used to see in advertising and in brand promotion the same kind of thing that is working for, how to say that, most of the people. Let's put it this way. And this is where, when I saw brands that are focused on curly hair, on brown skincare, for example, or even in like supporting Black female business, because we know that there are statistics, that we know that there are numbers showing that we are less represented as people, that we are less also invested on as a business. And the problem that comes down the line of that is that those people then all down there are being less represented, being less seen. And this is where I wanted to make things different, and I wanted to make marketing that show up the real personality of those founders, the real personality of the brand and how they can show up, because they have really first a business potential in the market, but also such strong values about creating something new for this world, so people can feel like better represented at something adapted for them. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Is that I when I go to the grocery store, I don't need a shampoo for straight hair. I need a shampoo for curly hair, and those businesses are doing that. It's just a very simple example, but But this is where I believe that makes the difference to support these founders and where they've been overlooked for so long, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you just touched on the curly hair, and I can relate to that with my curly hair as well. Where even as a business, I remember, I don't know, if you had to fit in society, and your appearance is part of that as well, and it shouldn't be, but that's the first thing you see. And I definitely get that you have to conform to fit into a specific environment just to make everyone feel comfortable. And
Exactly.
as creatives, what stop perform when do you think creatives, we stop performing and start positioning for identity, and how does that redefine both visibility and authority, do you think?
All right. So authority to me is what's internal to the person and to the brand. So because you've got that expertise, because you are in that very specific niche, for example, this gives you authority of speaking about one topic. So for example, um, you're a skincare brand and you've experienced the fact that having hyperpigmentation is a struggle for black skin, sorry, and that it can't be solved if you don't have like the biology knowledge and all of that behind it. This is where authority comes up. And then visibility comes from that authority to me, as because you've got that expertise, you need to dare to show up and actually bring what you have to give to the world to the world. To me, that is visibility. It's actually daring to show up. Um, yeah, showing yourself up, showing your values, showing what you're trying to build, the journey, and yeah, the brand on its own, not only the product but the why behind it. And to me, that's what brings visibility from authority. Um, and that's why I'm still like learning as an entrepreneur journey about the messages I want to use to reach those creatives and those founders as well. And I really want to emphasize that our identity and our experience builds our positioning, how we like sit in the market and how we are different. And this is really a strong visibility advantage because no one has experienced it as you and I in a very different way because of our background, basically. So,
Yeah, I know that at the moment you've got a workbook, or a real life workbook that you're promoting at the moment. And it was interesting because if someone was listening who wants visibility without performance, what's the first question they should ask themselves, do you think?
to me, and I would lean on what the expert that is going to come for this masterclass is going to tell also during that evening. But it's, I think the question is, what do you want to bring to the world? What do you want to be known for? To me, that's the question before starting. And that gives you as a that gives you a north star. So for example, I want to be known as the founder of a brand that helps culturally diverse creators to be more visible. That's my north star. And from that, I build up a social media plan, I build up a brand plan and all of that. But I think the authority and the visibility starts from why are you doing so and why do you want to what sorry do you want to be known for.
Definitely. And I think with this podcast, I definitely have been trying to get, because I was thinking about the visibility aspect where I was focusing on who I was trying to target. But at the same time, I went, hold on, I need to be visible as well. It's, I
Yeah.
can see myself in the people that I'm targeting as well. So that's interesting about, and I was also thinking about when you say like, be unapologetically you, I was thinking, what
Yeah.
does that actually require? What do you need to do you think, to empower yourself as a creative, especially as a person of color?
To me there's a lot also, even more with social media today, I'm having that conversation like all the time. You kind of like you could feel the pressure about like, oh, I need to do this trend, oh, I need to do that this way because I've seen this or this part telling me like, okay, I need to use these hooks or those prompts or whatever it is. It's yeah, it's a lot of information that we were not used to have and that we can't like all encompass. Basically, I believe that, well, there's two things. There are people that are specialized in social media. So they are here to help you. And so you can focus on the heart and what you actually want to be known for and what is the product that you're providing to the world. So whether it's a product or art or a creative performance. So to me, another part, and I'm actually, as every creative going through that, stop comparing yourself. To me, it's a very important one because we're back to authority here. You and only you know what you want to achieve. You know what you want to be known for, and you know how you want to build the thing based on your background, based on your experience, where you lived, where you've been surrounded with, and all of that. So you can't compare your journey or you can't compare like your whatever it is, like number of followers, engagement rate, and all of that to someone else because he's going to do it different from his experience and you will be doing different. I believe to me the goal is really to find your people, as you said before, like showing up so the people who looks like you and the people who are enthusiastic about the way you do things finds you. And they're going to be your most loyal customer in the end as well. So it's all a win-win, I guess.
Yeah, I think also the pressure of, I think you mentioned, but was it posting every day? And how do we, break that cycle of like the pressure of constantly being on? It's not really a strategy that we need to think about. But what do you think regards to posting every day? What's broken about the mainstream visibility?
Well, I think Black, mixed, and POC creatives and founders already come from a step behind because of how the system works. So basically, we are going to, I mean, to me, ask for help far later on than other people. And that means also to delegate far later on than other people. So we are comparing ourselves to people who may have already a team and they can post every day, obviously, but you're doing it all on your own because you're creating already something new to the world because it wasn't there before. So that's where I think like not posting every day, it's a strategy. It all depends to your business goal, obviously, or your communication goal and all your brand goals for sure. But it might not be the right strategy for you. First, because you can't sustain it. And when you're a solopreneur, your health is your business health to me. and and it might not be the best way to reach your people. Your people might be on only like 3 times a week because they want a break too, you know what I mean? So it's taking all of that into consideration to build the right visibility strategy.
Yeah, I was watching a YouTube video the other day that kind of came across this very subject, and they were constantly having putting their YouTube videos out and social media, and it kind of almost has the opposite effect. You've got this information and the knowledge and helpful advice, but sometimes it's just too much. You just want to step back and say, look,
Yeah,
thank you for the information, but I really can't be dealing with. And most people only can take so much information at a certain amount of times in their life. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So you're right.
exactly.
I feel the need to constantly put on a show or performance or information out every single day. It doesn't really serve your purpose and your goals that well. So yeah, I get that because we all,
Mhm.
as creatives, we're always in our own heads. So sometimes we just need to do less to do more. If that makes sense.
Exactly. And to keep things simple as well sometimes, like let's take the example of this podcast, for example, with one video that you take the time to prepare, to record, to have nice editing as well. You can use actually tools to make all the clips and schedule them into Instagram without having to think about it. That's just an example. But what I mean by that is that we need also to dare to have the system and the tools that could simplify our lives so we can actually focus on like building our authority, creating for reaching our people and all of those things that are far more interesting than spending time on Instagram, like scheduling.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think we just need to use the tools that we have and be purpose and be message. And yeah, because you know, as I've mentioned this a few times, burnout with creatives is a real thing, and it happens a lot with people, especially like you, when you've got a business running it on your own, you can burn out quite quickly. That's when community comes in, and that sounds like what you're doing with your workshops and your community sounds like it's growing as well.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for mentioning that. I think that, and this is where I'd like to start with every founders or creatives I work with, is what is the actual goal? Because you don't need to be like everywhere and exhausting yourself on being everywhere all the time. What matters is that you are in the right place where your people are, the people who are going to engage with you, who are needing your product or needing your art, and that you build a community around that. There's nothing more powerful than a community to support you, to cheer you up, even in your days down, because we have day downs also as creative. That happens quite frequently. Like, we need to ask also a question like, I'm not sure that, I don't know, this color is the right one to like represent that thing. So I can ask my community actually, what do they actually think? And that builds a really nice relationship, and that helps also to turn them into like potential customer. They feel part of your journey and of the brand journey as well. So yeah, it's really a key thing to me, for every creatives and founders out there who are starting to build something.
Was it important for you to focus on people of color?
To me it was important, well, first for me, because that was from my experience of being a young black and mixed girl in a growing up in a tiny village in the middle of France where we were the only black family and had no representation about what it could be to create your own business and be, yeah, successful entrepreneur as a woman as well. So that was about that was for me. And I wanted to make it really clear, in the way that generic advices don't always work for us. Basically, when we put like the word culture behind the brand campaign, behind an advertising, it's very different from, and you can see it in some advertising, when it comes from people who already lived the culture or when it's appropriation of the culture. So that's why for me it was really important to focus on the culturally diverse creators, because they are having that experience and they are going to bring the representation by showing up as themselves and like helping them in building their brands. So that's why it was very, very important to me to focus on that, because and there's so much potential and good ideas out there that needs to be seen. So I really focused my communication from the beginning on this target, because it's a target for me, as a business, and also because they've been overlooked for so long. So I was looking at some data. Only 2% of the entrepreneurs in Europe are from a culturally diverse background. That doesn't mean that there's no one who wants to do entrepreneurship or who do want to build a business. It's just that there are so many barriers. And then when it comes to, okay, I've overcome all these barriers, now how do I get visible? And you may not have the marketing background, you may not have all the system into social media to make it happen. And that's very sad when it's really like a really powerful tool to bring your brand to the next level. So I was like, okay, this is where my sweet spot is and where I can help my people basically. So I want to do that.
Yeah, and it makes it more interesting landscape if you have a diverse amount of points of views from the whole of the country and not just the majority. Because I think the minority have a lot to say. They have a lot to. They've created a lot of influences in the design industry for centuries, and I think it's important to have that seat at the table, as you said. So yeah, I think. So why do you think universal advice is often sometimes harmful for people of color?
Well, to me, it's because first, we don't have the same resources available. We don't have like the same access to education sometimes as well, or the same experience or opportunities when it will comes to corporate and then like creating your company because of some systemic barriers. So, and this is where to me, um, yeah, it makes even more sense to help those people to be visible.
We talked about the business side and also the problems that might occur if you were trying to make it in an industry. But how do you monetize your expertise without commodifying your identity, do you think?
Yeah, well, this is one thing that I cover into one of the workshops that I did that is called mixed marketing. And I think this is actually related to what we've discussed. Um, Mixed marketing is very generic concept of marketing where you promote your brand through the product, where you promote it, the price. That is the generic advice from all the marketing books and all of that. Then I have turned this into a mixed marketing way for culturally diverse creators where you actually use your identity and your background to go into the right place, for example, like create your own table. Because we don't start from the same stage. It's not like, oh, I'm going to enter that board or that networking place like everyone else. You might need to create something different every time you open a door. And this is where the difference comes from to me. If we take an example of a brand that I love that is called Les Secrets de Loli, that's a French brand that is specialized in career. She actually opened the curly hair market in France. There was no one believing in that product at the beginning because people didn't see the need. She had to create her own table. So she created a product where there was a need, but people had to believe in it. The investors, the other marketers, and all of that. So this is where, to me, generic advices cannot work all the time because we don't start from the same place, and we most of the time have to create our own table when we are starting a new project, and even more when we want to make it visible.
Mm, I see, yeah. And also, regards to monetizing, I think some people take advantage of certain cultures and monetize it and off the back of other people as well. So it's just trying to find a way of protecting yourself as a trying to find your identity but also protect it at the same time, without other people taking advantage of that as a business or as a founder or as a creator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is why I was talking about it mixed marketing, because one part is the price. And we often, because we are so used to shrink because the places are not made for us, to reduce our prices, to not like estimate to the right value the price that my consultancy will cost or that product will cost, because I was always used to shrink to be accepted in some places. And one thing I touch on that masterclass is that because I come and most of the black, mixed, and POC comes also from different background. They've been immigrated into different countries. They've been surrounded from so many different people and experienced the knowledge of so many countries. That is a real advantage. That is a real, how to say that, added value. And some of the people you're going to talk about your brand, your business, your art won't have all that expertise that you've accumulated over the years by navigating your identity, navigating your diverse background as well. And that has a value. That has a very, very strong value. And that has a price that you need
Mm,
to monetize, basically. Long story.
exactly. Yeah. Definitely. We always forget like to make sure that we have value, not just in of what we say and what we do, but we want to earn a living. We want to,
Exactly.
we're just like everyone else. We're not gonna, we can't just live on goodwill. We have bills to pay. So but we
Yeah,
don't want
like
people to take
everybody else.
advantage. Exactly. If this episode resonates, follow, leave a review, or you can DM me over on Instagram at Creatively Eccentric. If you would love to be a guest and share your story, register to join the guest waitlist. You'll be the first to hear when applications reopen. The link to sign up will be in the show notes. This is the part of the conversation I love to have with my guests, and it's called Studio Drawer. It's a play on words. It's like behind the scenes, the drawer of your desk, that messy drawer that nobody wants to talk about.
Love that.
What's the most ridiculous assumption someone's made about what you do?
I don't understand. Like, why are you focusing only on black people? Isn't that racist that you're focusing only on black people? You can't imagine the like amount of conversation that I had around that. Like, well, but we are not like excluding people like you do, like focusing on to like black people. And all that. I was like, yeah, okay, you know what? You're not my target, and I'm gonna go my way, and it's all fine.
Yeah, just misinterpret what you're trying to achieve. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. If you don't get it at that point, it's definitely not talking to you. Let's put it this way.
yeah,
So
you're not the person I need to speak to.
exactly, but it's fine. It's fine. No harm.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Okay, the next question I have for you. Who or what never fails to inspire you, no matter how many times you revisit?
Beyonce.
Ooh, why Beyonce?
I'm a big beehive person. All right. She never fails to me as how creative she is, how she renew herself. I mean, she's been here like for 3 decades now, more or less. Yeah, about that. She always come up with a new and different way to share a message and what is close to her heart, even if she's building a family aside of it and doing shows and performance while also empowering the people that is her community as well. So yeah, she never fails to me, definitely not. But there's a lot of examples like that. But Beyonce will be my top one for sure.
Definitely. She's very influential. She's great business influence as well. So she's built a great empire.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, the next question I have for you is what is a strange or weird ritual you have when you start a new project?
Well, okay. There's the rational thing and there's the spiritual thing. The rational thing is that I can start a project without having the whole plan laid out. I am very like I'm a Virgo. I like a good planning. That's very down into like my personality as well. So if I don't have the overall vision, I can't start. But it's both on to really the tangible side of things, how I'm going to make that plan happen, that project happen, but also on the spiritual way. I need to visualize that in my head and manifest it as well. So that may sound weird to some people, but that so far it's good with me. So
If it works, it works, you know.
it is so far.
Really excellent. Okay, one last question in Studio Draw. What is your bad creative habit that you want to or don't want to stop doing?
Well, a bad creative habit. I don't know if that falls into like that's true for all creative, but if I get into my zone of creativity, like let's say I'm creating those social media posts and I'm like, oh my God, I'm having a blast here. I can do it like for 48 hours, no sleep, no drinks. So I like it because it feels good, but it's not really healthy on the other side. Let's put it this way. So I don't know if that falls in that. Do I really want to stop on that? I'm not sure.
If it feels good, but as long as you know, some people find it might burn them out, but if you sound like you're enjoying it, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really into like you can see like some paintings and stuff behind me that I do. I love that. Colors is really what energizes me. So as soon as I get into like creativity and colors, whether it's digitally or in real life as well, I just love that and feel in my zone. So I could never stop.
If anyone's listening to the podcast, if the creatives listening stopped trying to be palatable and started building from their own true self, what would be possible that isn't possible for them right now?
To me, if they started to show up as they are authentically, unapologetically, what would happen is that they would open the door for so many people, and this is why I do what I do. To have an impact on the next generation, to show that it's possible. Don't get me wrong, the doors are started to open, but I believe that we could do far more if all the creative that, let's say, just you and I know there to show up already like authentically and show their work to the world, you know. So that would inspire the next generation, and we are going to see more and more people just like, yeah, just like me, who was not represented, but have another perspective of what they are capable of and what they could do. And to me, that would be a massive change in the world, definitely.
Yeah, that's very powerful, and I think more people like yourself will, collectively together will make a big difference. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, support your business, and follow you on your social handles, how would they do that?
Well, they can definitely find me into Instagram at kclab.media. This is where I spend most of my day on. I'm also I'm also in LinkedIn as well at Johanna Parvedy, so you can reach out anytime. I'm always happy to have a conversation. And yeah, website is coming up soon, and all the services and digital product to support the founders. Yeah, really happy and looking forward to help more and more culturally diverse creatives. Yeah.
Johanna, it's been wonderful talking to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It has been a pleasure. I loved your question. It was really enjoyable. Thank you so much, Ida.